Linda McMahon joins us, of course, steeped in Republican politics, and her experience in small business as well. Linda, it's real simple. There's individual checks that are going to be out there at some point. Mr. Kudlow mentioned that, I believe, over the weekend. When does small business get their proverbial check?
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me this morning. According to Secretary Mnuchin, he is hopeful that those loans will be available to small businesses starting this Friday. And if that's possible, that will really be a good boost to the small businesses. You know, we have to remember that small businesses make up, they're 99% of all businesses in the country, and they make up almost half of the GDP. So the president really wants to get these businesses, keep them whole, especially over the next 8 weeks, and that's what these loans are designed to do, that they can apply for.
If this is assumed, Ms. McMahon, to be income substitution or income replacement, do you just assume further tranches of stimulus, further tranches of fiscal policy to assist that 90% of America?
Well, let's look at first what the hope is for small businesses, and that is to help these businesses hire back or keep workers on the payroll. And if they do that for the 8 weeks from the time they apply for their loan, then that loan will be forgiven. Now, they can go to their local bank, and that's the best thing, for this particular loan. It's these loans are handled under the SBA oversight, but borrowers should go to their local bank. That bank, under their guidance, will make the loan to that individual. And it's much easier to do that than go through the disaster relief program at SBA, so that any FDIC-approved lender and even fintechs are going to be able to loan this money to businesses for them to hire, for them to pay their rent, their debts, to keep them going. And the goal is that then businesses can really start back up when we're ready to turn the curve on the coronavirus and get back into action.
Linda, given this scheme, what do you worry about? That people don't know where to find the information, and the way you laid it out was very clear and helpful, or is it that people could take advantage of the scheme?
Well, certainly SBA will have on its website, and I don't speak for SBA, I'm not there anymore, and Jovita Carranza, the current administrator, and her team are just doing an excellent job in coordinating with all of the banks to make sure there's good communication between our borrowers and the banks. And I think that they're doing an excellent job with that. But also, SBA.gov is the website to go to. They'll be getting more and more information up about banks in different areas of the country.
Do you see many businesses going under? Or given the extent of some of the schemes, do you think this is almost impossible?
I wish I had a crystal ball, but there will be some business that will go under. Unfortunately, very small businesses, this is a really tough time for them. But the hope is that with Congress acting to bring the CARES Act, and now this money that will be available, about $377 billion to small businesses, the hope is that it will keep them afloat while they pay their employees. It's just as important to take care of our workers. Those people who've laid off, this is nobody's fault, as the president said. And they'll keep their employees on, they'll pay their benefits, right, and whatever those overhead costs are. So that'll be a real boon to small businesses.
Yeah. Linda, you are chair of American First Action as well. American First Action. I've got a great question for you that comes from over the weekend. What should be the next action for this president? Here's a guy with elevated approval ratings in a fist fight every single press conference with the media and all the rest of it as well. What is your advice to President Trump in his next action? How should he approach going into April?
I think the president's done an amazing job. And the press conferences that he has every day, I think, are very consoling. to the citizens of our country. And they see their leader up there. They can ask questions, Mike Pence, other cabinet members that are there. And I think this absolutely infuses more confidence in what's going on in spite of the dreadful impact of this virus. And I think the president's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's listening to his health experts. That's why he extended, the social distancing plan and sort of semi-lockdown until the end of April, whereas he was talking about Easter. He's listening to his health experts because, first and foremost, he's concerned about the health and well-being of the citizens of our country, and he doesn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So he keeps looking at the economy. How can it be infused even more? But I think now we have to wait and see how this portion of the stimulus is really going to work, and see what happens, because it hasn't even started yet. It's just been passed.
Yeah, that's a point well taken, that we've got to see what the first tranche looks like. Linda McMahon, thank you so much, Chair of America First Action.